the music can only mean one thing. It's a Monday, and it's time for some winning begins at home, and which sounds ironic, knowing that we're probably all going back to work today. I know I'm speaking today to a group, and I'm excited about that. Going to be having an opportunity to add value, hopefully, to some leaders, and I'm pumped up about that. But I'm glad you joined us here for the show. Thanks for all of you who continue to join. Continue to share with your friends and family. If you've not hit the download button or the subscribe button yet, or if you've not even subscribed to the YouTube channel, if that's you want to check us out over there, we got the studio going here, and we're recording all these video-wise. I'll actually hold up a couple things here. I'm holding up a copy of Lead Every Day. This is a book that Mark Miller and I released last week. We're so excited about this. It's out in the world. I saw where it is. It's trending on Amazon. I think it's I think we got up to number 4 release in business management here last week. Number 4 new release. And so still trying to hit that number 1 spot. Maybe you can help us with that. If you've not picked up your copy of Lead Every Day and you want to win at work, then go get that one. But we're talking about winning at home here, and excited about that. Another milestone we just hit, I mentioned it on the other podcast, but we've just hit 500,000 downloads between our 2 podcasts. So most of them here from the Chasing Greatness days, and now the Winning Begins at Home, and then we have the Lead Every Day show. So if you're looking for help at work, I hope you'll check that out. But one of the things I want to do this week is I started thinking about a question that came up from a leader. We did a little webinar last week when we launched the book, and a leader asked a question about really the most important thing a leader can do early in their career. And we talked about just the importance of growth. And it got me to thinking about our point of view on leadership, which I think spills over into home. I think sometimes we understand how important this is at work, but I think sometimes we maybe underestimate how important our picture, which is the iceberg, is at home. And I'm going to talk this week about some of the heart habits that we talk about in the workplace. I think they're just as important at home. And so we're going to focus on those this week. And as I said, our picture is the iceberg. And at work, we talk about how our skills are, that's the part that's above the waterline. If you think about an iceberg, there's 90%, they said it's below the waterline. The 90% below is the character stuff. And at work, sometimes we don't think the character stuff is important. We understand it's important at home, but we don't talk about it maybe as much at home as we should. We don't talk about it in the workplace. We don't even like to hear about it in the workplace. But honestly, what makes you a leader that others want to follow is that your heart's right when it's all said and done, that you have leadership character or integrity, however you want to think about that. And this week we're gonna look at 5 heart habits that I believe will make you a family member that others want to follow. We say it's a leader that others want to follow, but I think it'll make you a family member that people are going to love being in your family if you have these 5 things you're guilty of. And so we're gonna go one at a time here. The next all 5 days this week, we'll look at one of these heart habits, and I'm excited about it. The first one I want us to talk about, and by the way, these are going to be Heart. We're going to spell the word heart this week. And if you've listened to any of our business stuff, you'll know these, but we'll put a little bit different spin on it today. Going to try to connect some dots here at home, but Warren Buffett once said, someone's sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. And that just reminds me so much of the importance of wisdom. And so today we're talking the H, hunger for wisdom. We want to hunger for wisdom. This is so important that we can project forward what it would mean to have a wise life, really. I always say a wise decision is the best decision. Think about what's going on in your home life right now. I'm guessing you've got some things you're up against, some challenges. You need wisdom. And as I was talking to the young leader last week after the webinar, I just was reminding them that the best time to plant a tree, we've always heard, and I said something about this a couple of weeks ago. It's what they say 40 years ago. It'd be great to have a big oak tree in the yard right now if you need one. If you didn't plant it, too bad. But the second best time to plant a tree, they say, is today. I don't think that's true. I think the second best time would be 39 years ago. I think the earlier the better. And when it comes to this idea of wisdom, I think the sooner we decide that we're going to pursue wisdom in our lives, we're going to be learners. That's really what we're talking about here. We're going to be teachable. We're going to be humble. We're going to do everything we can to really live a wise life. I just think that's such a beautiful way to think about it. And for me, this starts with a plan. And so how are you doing on your plan? We talked earlier, a few, I guess it's been a couple months ago now, about halftime adjustments. Well, now we're heading into the fall here, and those adjustments you've made, how's that going? Do you even have a plan that you're living off of, you're leading off of? I've said before, I think sometimes we spend more time planning our vacation. My wife and I, we've got a trip coming up in a few weeks. We've been planning that. I think so many people spend more time planning their vacation or planning their trip than they do planning their life. And that doesn't make a lot of, it didn't feel wise to me. I'll say it that way. So I want us to think today about the importance of wisdom. And I think it starts with a plan. So let's make sure that we have a plan. A goal, if you have a goal to be wise without a plan, it's just merely a wish. It's not going to come to fruition if you don't have a plan to get there. And I think a development plan will help you create what I would call focused learning. It's like, if I've got an area in my family life that I want to get better and I've got a goal to do that, I'm going to need to set aside some time to read something, or to listen to something, or to go meet with someone who's maybe a little further ahead of me, or maybe somebody who's crashed and burned before, and they could give me some warnings, some warning signs, some things to be aware of. I just think wise leaders commit time to grow. And so I want to encourage you today, as you think about being wise, and if you really hunger for wisdom, hunger might be the key word. When you're hungry, you're going to look for food. And I was listening to a guy a few weeks ago. He was talking about babies. They're always hungry. And he was talking about, and my wife and I, we've got all these little grandkids now, and it's amazing how much they eat. They're just going through food like crazy. They want more. Their parents have taught them the little sign language, for more. It's, which is cool. But they just continually want more. Why is that? Because they're growing. And I just would, if I could wish anything for you today, it would be that you would have this insatiable desire to grow. You really would be. You'd be doing everything you can to become wise. I mean, that's what we want. And so as you think about your plan, I would encourage you to do a couple things specifically today. You might find a mentor, enlist a mentor, someone who can help you grow. If you're going to hunger for wisdom, I just think it's so important for us to have some people around our lives who we can lean on and we can learn from. And I know in my life, I look back, there's just so many people that I've learned from. They've mentored me. They've helped me. There's no way I would be where I am today were it not for so many people that, I mean, honestly, I'm sitting in the shade, as Buffett says, and I guess you probably are too, if you think about it. But who is it that can help you get to that next place? That maybe you're just not where you want to be. And so I just think this is so important to have a person or people. Maybe you have different areas where you're trying to get better. And you may need somebody to mentor you in several areas. You maybe need somebody for your marriage. It might not be the same person that you need for your parenting, or maybe it is, but you need somebody to mentor you. You may need a trainer physically, and you may need a financial planner to help you with your stewardship. I don't know, but I'm guessing that you or maybe just a friend who's thinking about some things and that you can learn from. And I think wisdom is so cool. It's like it's like the old bank account we talk about sometimes. You just keep making deposits in it, and it's amazing when you get around somebody who's older and they're wise. It comes from a life of learning, and so just this lifelong learning thing. As I get older, I just continue to try to learn every day, and that would be my second thing for you. It's not just to enlist mentors, but I would say we want to learn daily. We want to learn daily. We want to have this habit built into our life, this rhythm built into our life, that we're doing everything we can to learn every day. I hope this podcast will help you learn something every day, but you're going to maybe be able to talk to somebody every day, or you read something every day. And I think that purposeful reading, you find a book or something and you just work through it. You work through it slowly. You get your highlighter, you got your pen, and you're reading, which is great, but think about what you're reading and think about how what you're reading applies to what you're doing. And even if you're listening to the podcast, what's one thing today that you could do? We think you practice your way to high performance, and that's true at work, but it's also true at home. You behave your way to where you want to go. You don't, maybe something will change is not your strategy. You want to make sure that you're locked in on learning every day, and you've got a plan to do that. So we've got a plan. We got mentors. We're going to learn every day. If we'll do that, I think we're going to get to a point where we start to make some progress. And there's just nothing better than getting down the road. I am down the road now. I've been doing this for a long time, and I can tell you I've grown a lot over the decades. But I can certainly tell you that I'm not where I want to be, and I'm continually trying to learn. And so I hope you will as well. Hope you'll join me on this journey toward wisdom. I think the world needs more wise people. It's just amazing when you start talking to people, you're just going, I'm not sure they're learning like they need to be. But when you get around people who are wise, people who are hungering for wisdom, they're learning every day. It's just fuel for your own growth. And as I think about that iceberg, that character piece, that underneath piece, the person who's teachable, the person who's growing, they're really the one who's the most impactful. So let's start there. I think a wise leader really is the best leader. I think the wise father or mother, or even son or daughter, that's who you want in your family. And I hope you'll do everything you can to continue to hunger for wisdom. All right, share with the people around your life. I think that'd be a wise thing to do too. Encourage somebody else who's younger in their journey, maybe even today, and remind them that the earlier you start, the better chance you have of getting to where you want to go. All right, love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow for more Winning Begins at Home.